Dear DSA students, we are so excited to be on this journey with you, and we want to say a big well done for your commitment and enthusiasm so far. Whether you have just joined or you have been learning with us over the past few weeks, we see your progress and we are rooting for you all the way. Now, we know there's been a bit of silence around the learning management system, and we sincerely apologize for that. But here's the good news. We have an update as regards the learning management system, and it is one you'll love. Some of you may have been onboarded on the previous LMS, but want to ask that you kindly disregard any previous link, platform, or communication concerning that old system. We are officially switching to a new platform that you may be familiar with, Canvas by Instructure. For those new to Canvas, don't worry. A video tutorial will be uploaded to guide you step by step on how to use the platform effectively on our YouTube channel. You will also receive an onboarding email directly from Canvas by Instructure to help you get started. Please follow the instructions in the email and input your details to begin your learning journey on the platform. We are committed to making sure your learning experience is smooth, interactive, and impactful. So please, pay close attention to the announcements coming right after this video for more details. We are so glad to have you with us. Keep going, we've got this.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening, guys. Please confirm if you can hear me. Please confirm if you can hear me. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Loud and clear. So, good evening, guys. I trust we all are doing great, and I trust your day was nice. I trust you had a productive day. So yeah, let's just greet each other in the comment section. Okay, just say hi to your friend, say hi to somebody in the comment section. So yeah, I've been getting a lot of you not calling my name in the comment section. So it's I have a lot of students on this stream, but I'm trying my best. Trust me, I'm trying my best to connect with you all. So if I've met somebody name and just call out the person and say hello to the person. Okay. So thank you very much. And as usual, please let's take the moment to call our friends, right? Tell your friend that the train is moving on and we're about to get to work tonight. Okay. We're about to get to work tonight. So let's make sure we have everybody. And in the next few minutes, we'll just comment to our slide, see what we have for today. Okay, and I trust that time is going to be on our side tonight. Okay, yeah. So I can see I'm doing very well, Boyega. Thank you. I think I've not called Boyega before. I saw someone's Insight TV Sean. Good evening, boss. How you doing? I saw someone's comment. The person said he needs morale. Yeah, Emmanuel. Okay, Emmanuel said I need morale for this course, please. I don't want. Yeah, it happens from time to time. Trust me, even with me also. There are times like I'm not always pumped up, right? But then sometimes you just have to keep going, okay? Just push through. Remember that our graph, right? Yeah, so it happens um for us all at different points, right? So yeah. Okay, how do Webster Mika? I hope you're happy now. Good evening. How you doing? Right. So yeah, just keep going, right? Trust the process, and before you know it, look for stuff that are going to help you also to get your morale. Okay. So I do that sometimes, listening to podcasts, listening to I do some very weird things, right? Sometimes I listen to some heavy motivational stuff, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's sha working for me, right? Regardless of what people say about motivational orators and those kind of stuff, it works for me. So yeah, and okay, I'll do. You're very happy now. All right, I'm glad you're happy. Thank you. Someone was asking me, and I missed that message. Benjamin, good evening. Justina, good evening. The honest Ame, good evening. All right. Yeah, so we have 4 more minutes to go. Someone is asking, where is Cynthia? Where is Cynthia? Cynthia, where are you? Okay. Tolu, good evening. Okay, good evening. Like I said, you guys don't have to add sir to my name or Mister. I'm a very young boy. Please don't make me feel old. All right. So yeah. All right, Emmanuel, you're welcome. So Nelly, good evening. Obadiah, yes, I know Obadiah now. I know Fit Gabby now. I know Cynthia. I'm beginning to pick up some names actually. Yeah. Okay, Mosumola, good evening. I'm not sure I've called Mosumola before. Onyibo Tosin, good evening. Coach, good evening. Oyebisi, good evening, good evening. The honest, I'm in Abuja. Oh, wow, nice. Maybe we'll meet in Jabi Park all of this weekend. You never can tell. But I won't be able to recognize you, right? You never, well, let's see. Okay. So he's saying attendance. Okay. Bilikisu, I'm young. Come on. You can tell from my voice now. Am I sounding that old? Oh my god. Ayo ZBD, right? Good evening. Okay, I hope you're happy with me now. Faith, talk with Melody. Good evening. Okay, so I hope you're happy with me now as well. Good evening, Olare John. Olarele John. Yeah, good evening. Okay. CFR. Yeah, I know CFR also. Adetolu. I've noticed his name. Good evening. All right, Cynthia is around now. Good evening, Cynthia. Ebenezer, it's not my voice. Okay. All right. Okay, Prince Collins, good evening. All right. Oh, from Owerri. Oh, nice, nice, nice. I'd love to explore that side of the country sometime soon. Yeah. I actually like, fun fact, I like traveling. Yeah, and sometimes I tell people I enjoy traveling by road more because you get to explore more because I'm kind of like an explorer. But if you are traveling by air, it's just everybody's forming posh. Yeah. So yeah, let's see. Maybe I'll be to that side of the country sometime soon. And yeah, maybe one of my organs want to bring job for DSA, right? That requires us to fly outside the country. We'll also be happy to take that as well. All right, so 1 more minute, guys. 1 more minute. We are just catching up. Let's make sure every other person is on the call. Okay, insights, please. I hope my yesterday attendance will put me into problem because the attendance popped up project management. No, no, no. I don't think that should be an issue. I don't think that should be an issue. Oh, Benway. All right. This Olorunfemi Nicholas. You're from Benway. Nice. I was actually thinking I could make it to Benway this month, but I don't think that's going to work out because I wanted to come for this Christian conference by Apostle Remember. Yeah, sorry, I'm already talking church stuff. Yeah. Oh, Emmanuel said to him, I will fly outside the country for car class. Very funny. Okay, so this 10 minutes past time already. So let's get to what we have for tonight. All right, so let's stop the greetings and let's make sure we don't miss important messages. Ade, I just saw somebody. I'm just taking grace for this person. Adedokun Adewale say, I don't greet you. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. No, I'm so sorry. Sorry. I hope you're happy now. Good evening, man. Okay, so let's get to what we have to do for today. But before that, give me a minute. Let me resolve something quickly here, and then we'll get to what we have for tonight. All right. So thank you, guys. All right. So sorry about that, guys. I had to quickly resolve something here, and I think we are good to go. So just a brief recap of what we did yesterday, right? So somebody remind us what we did yesterday. Talk about what you learned, what you found interesting, the applicability, and all those kind of stuff. Okay, right? Let's talk. We spoke about encryption. A lot of people were like, we need to talk about cryptography. Why are we talking about encryption and all those kind of stuff, right? So we'll be touching cryptography today. So there's a little mix up in the course title for tonight, right? But we'll fix that, okay? Because we are kind of behind, a little bit behind schedule, guys. So let's speed things up. Okay, let's speed things up and so we can get back to following our syllabus. Okay, so tonight we'll be focusing on cryptography, right? Be explaining cryptography, some its applicability, looking at some cool concepts, talking about hashing, comparing hashing and encryption, all those kind of stuff, right? Talk about Caesar cipher, and so we have quite a number of things to do today. Okay. So okay, I can see a lot of TLS. I see TLS and SSH. Ibukun, thank you. Timilenyi Joseph encryption. Okay, thank you. Adaize, Onuwo, CIA charge. Yes, at the end of the day, we always pin back everything to CIA charge and try to see how it affects it. Very well said, right? Yeah, thank you. Ade Sonia Anjola, we talked about secure communication. Yes, that was our exact topic for yesterday. Okay, okay. Cletus, we learned that CIHR is significant for secure communication. Yes, very well said. Encryption and secure communication, symmetric and asymmetric from CFR Adetolu. Adetola, very, very correct. Encryption and decryption. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys, yeah. I'm glad you guys are actually following up. Um, right. Thank you very much. Okay. Someone is saying my screen is blank. This from Babs Topsy. Please, can you guys confirm? Let me know if you can see my screen or let's be sure because over here it's showing that my screen is presenting. But let's be sure about that, please. Okay. Oh, Cletus from Indonesia. Wow, that's nice. Thank you. Okay, Taiwo, it's not blank. Okay, my screen is good. Okay. All right. Fumilayo said my screen is good. Femi, Belo, symmetric, which is same key, symmetric, which is two keys. Yes, I love this. So now let's stop talking about the topic. Let's start. Let me see your understanding of things we discussed, right? Pick a subject, talk a little bit about it, and yeah. So yeah, while I'm looking out for that, and I'll be looking out for that. Let's just quickly go through. So we spoke about secure communication, right? Expectation. We compared. Spoke about how do you send secret message that only the right person can read, even if the person intercepts it, right? So the goal is not just to prevent others from seeing it. We also want to make sure that when they see the message, they can make sense out of it, right? And then, I mean, the last demo we did, right, using comparing HTTP, HTTPS, right, and visualizing it using Wireshark, right, we're able to see the difference, right? Or even though we're simulating the bad guy and then we intercepted those requests, right, it didn't make sense to us, and so we couldn't use it for anything. We defined what secure communication is. We explained it using the CIA how it relates to it. We spoke about some things that we are trying to prevent, right, which leads us to wanting to implement secure communication. Attacks such as eavesdropping, man in the middle, replay attack, message tampering, spoofing, and all those kind of stuff. So after that, we went to encryption, the basics of encryption. We explained it at a very high level, right? Explain that this has to do with scrambling of data, so it is unreadable without the key. And then we said, oh, the opposite or the reverse of encryption is actually decryption, right? And we spoke about the two types, symmetric and asymmetric, just like the other person said in the comments session, right? That symmetric is same key, asymmetric is two key, right? We spoke about that. Then some algorithms, advantage, where to apply it, right, and all those kind of stuff, right? Then we spoke about HTTP, HTTPS, TLS, and those kind of things, right? And then we saw that okay, TLS helps to prevent sniffing, tampering, and man in the middle, which we saw practically, right? Because HTTP we intercepted the username and password. HTTPS we couldn't do that. So yeah. And then we also checked our browser to see HTTP compared to HTTPS and the padlock sign and all those kind of stuff. But then we explained that HTTPS doesn't automatically mean a site or a website is safe, right? Doesn't mean a website is not owned by a bad guy. It just means that your communication with that website is secure, right? So if that website is owned by a bad person, it's still a bad website, right? HTTPS does not automatically make a website good and super secure, right? So we tried explaining that and clearing that because I mean I've seen a lot of been to a few conference, right, or seen a few people online that when they are giving like cyber advice, they say, oh, once the website is HTTP you can't trust it, but once it is HTTPS, you can trust it. That's true to an extent, right? But then we have malicious guys, right, hosting their own website and putting HTTPS. So we also need to be very careful of clarifying because I'm trying to be careful with my words here, because a lot of times they just say, oh, once you see that the website is HTTPS, you can trust it. No, not necessarily. HTTPS means your communication with that website is secure. That means your communication with that website is being encrypted, right? It does not mean the website itself is good, right? So we also need to be very careful with that. And then HTTP is everywhere, all those kind of stuff. We did our demo with Wireshark, and then we are here for tonight. We are here for tonight. Okay, we are here for tonight. All right, thank you guys. I can see your comments, right, explaining some of the things we spoke about yesterday, and I love that. I love that. All right. All right, someone is asking, is GPG GPG works on Windows like it does on Mac and Linux? I'm not so sure of that. But yeah, GPG, yeah, it should. It should. I might need to do a little bit research to be sure of how that works granular level. Yeah, but yeah, it should, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Yeah, thank you guys. I can see the Wukola Wallace comment. Beautiful, right? Benjamin Kandakai. Yeah, beautiful. I love that. Thank you very much for explaining. Okay. Ambali Kuburat. We talked about symmetry here and its disadvantage. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So guys, so for tonight, we want to touch on cryptography, like I said earlier, right? But what are our expectations for tonight's session? What are our expectations for tonight's class, right? We want to understand what cryptography is and why it is critical to cyber security. So encryption is like a baby to cryptography, and we touched on that yesterday, but now we want to touch on the parents and want to expand our tentacles to explain a lot more things. Okay, and explore the evolution of cryptography from ancient Caesar to digital encryption, learn core concepts, encryption, which we did yesterday. We'll talk about hashing, and also we'll talk on digital signature, right? And then we are going to see how this concept protect real world data, right? So like we always say, like in our section, we are not just teaching these things because they are cool to know. We are teaching it because we are trying to produce cybersecurity professionals. So at the end of the day, we must always find a way to relate everything that we are learning to the real life environment, to the real world, because we expect that you are going to be using this knowledge to work as a cybersecurity professional. So I think for tonight, right, I'm going to allow you guys begin to see the applicability of most of the concepts that we are going to be learning, right? So I remember I experimented on something like that yesterday, and I love the response I got from a lot of you guys, right? Where I asked about personal and how important it is to business, and a lot of you guys gave me important and very good reasons, which I loved. So I'm going to allow you guys to do the thinking, right, for some of these things, where you provide me the real world applicability of some of these things, right? And I know that for some you might not be able to see it, so don't worry. It's not like I'm going to be quiet and allow you to do the teaching complete. Okay. So thank you. And with that, let's get to what we have. So what exactly is cryptography, right? So let me hear from you guys. Okay, I already have it on my screen. So I mean, some of you have seen it, right? So cryptography is simply the science of securing information through transformation. That's cryptography, right? The science of securing information through transformation. Okay, making it unreadable to anyone without the key. So this is like a very simplistic definition of what cryptography is, right? So cryptography, when we talk about cryptography, it's all about making sure that we it's all about the science of securing information, right, through transformation, right? Remember encryption, which we treated yesterday, conversion from readable to unreadable, right? The parent for doing that is cryptography, right? Remember I said the parent is cryptography and encryption is just the baby, okay? Right? So everything from encryption to hashing to digital signature to digital certificate, all those kind of stuff, they are all children of cryptography, right? But yeah, even the popular crypto that we have, cryptocurrency that we have right now, right, is still heavily reliant on the concept of cryptography, is heavily reliant on the concept of cryptography. Okay, all right. So cryptography is derived from two Greek words, right? It is derived from two Greek words. So it is derived from cryptos, which means hidden, and the second word is graphia, which is writing, right? So it ensures confidentiality, it ensures integrity, it ensures authentication, right? So authentication in the sense that you can actually use cryptography to identify, to verify identity. We'll be looking at that. And it also ensures non-repudiation. It also ensures non-repudiation, right? With cryptography, if we can tie someone's identity, if we can verify someone's identity, right, and then the person does something, we can always tell if we can always help to prevent the person denying his or her action, right? So non-repudiation. So this is all ensured by cryptography. So like I said earlier, cryptography is derived from two Greek words, cryptos and graphia, right? Crypto means hidden, graphia means writing, right? So put it together and make meaning out of that, right? So maybe for somebody to understand, you can say, oh, it is the act of hiding something that you are writing, right? But I mean, it could be more than that. But if that will help you drive home the point, think of it that way. Okay, so I saw this is Justina. I would say it is the act of process of encrypting messages. Yeah, let's not say encrypting messages, right? Let's say keeping secrets. Let's just say keeping secret, because encryption is one thing, right? There's a lot more things that you can actually do in cryptography, okay, beyond just encryption and decryption. Okay, so we'll be talking at like an example, right? Encryption is reversible. So what do I mean by encryption is reversible? So we have encryption and then we have decryption. Cryptography extend beyond that. There are some cryptographic algorithm. There's a cryptographic concept known as hashing, right? With hashing, you can only convert something one way. You can't reverse it. So if I convert maybe something to if I should hash something, right, then I can't reverse it, right? That means if I hash A, there's no way for me from the hash to reverse the hash and get back A. It's not mathematically possible. Also, something I need to point out is cryptography is heavy on mathematics and computation. Okay. But then, if you are not a fan of mathematics, don't be scared. Trust me. For our class, we will not be going into all the whole underground mathematics, equation, doing all those algebra and all those kind of stuff, right? We already have some online tools. We already have some online website that we are just going to be using, right, to show some of this concept. And then, yeah, if we want to be doing hashing or even there are some encryption algorithm, maybe RSA and all those kind of stuff that if we want to do in this class, right, it's 2 hours is not going to be enough to drive home the point. So we are going to skip all of those fundamental things, focus on what is going to help everybody understand and make the best out of the time that we have. All right, so thank you guys. I love what I'm seeing. I love what I'm seeing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A lot of you, I agree with what a lot of you are saying. I agree. I agree with it. Yeah, so history of cryptography. History of cryptography. So cryptography is not just a new thing, right? Cryptography is not something that, oh, cryptography started before computer, right? Before what we have, before the first generation of computer, we've had cryptography, right? Cryptography has been used in ancient time, like very, very, very long ago. Very, 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 very long ago, right? So we've had cryptography been known since the time of Julius Caesar, right? With his own cryptographic method known as Caesar cipher. Caesar cipher, right? And for Caesar cipher, the method of conversion is usually by shifting letter by a fixed number, right? So the story is that during war, if Caesar wants to communicate with his people, if Caesar wants to send information, right, he's going to use his Caesar cipher, which is what we know as shift cipher, right? He's going to use it to write his message and he's going to send it. So even if they should catch the messenger on the road to delivering the message, right, and then they go through the letter, it's not going to make sense to them. So we are going to look at that. But Caesar cipher was using a fixed length of 3 shifts. So I'm going to explain what that is as we proceed, right? So let's say, for example, what do we mean by 3 shifts? So each letter of the alphabet, right? So if Caesar wants to write A, he's going to count 3 letters after A and pick that letter. So A is going to be D, right? B, A, B, C, D, right? So it's going to be D, right? So if he's going to write B, right, he's going to count 3 letters after B. So that would be C, D, E. So it's going to be E, right? And then that's how he keeps doing it, doing it, doing it. So other people who doesn't understand this, right? When they see the message, it's just going to be like some random characters and all those kind of things. But you know, like this, like long, long ago, right? So knowledge is not as it is right now, right? So it was helping. It was helping. It was helping do the stuff, right? But I mean, there are a lot of things. Okay, someone is asking Z. Someone is asking about Z, right? So the way it works, it's cyclical. So once you get to Z or Z, right, you start counting again from A. So that will be A, B, C. So Z is going to transform to be C, right? All right. Someone is talking about the Yoruba equivalent. That's interesting. I'm just hearing about this. I'll probably research about that. I saw that comment. Okay, Adedokun, right? I'm going to look about that. I'm going to look into that after this class, probably. Let me keep it somewhere. Okay. I'm going to look into the two. Let me copy this and document it somewhere. I'm going to research about it later. Thank you. Okay, so let's take a right. So Caesar cipher is an example of what is known as shift cipher. Is an example of what is known as shift cipher. So let's say, for example, we have a lot of online tools that can actually show us this. Right. So let's quickly take a look at Caesar cipher, and yeah. So if let's come here and search for Caesar cipher, right? So we have this. Okay, so we have this to decode, right? So let's check decode.fr. I'll make my screen bigger for those who can't see it, right? So let's say, for example, right, the message is Emmanuel is a fine boy, right? And then this decrypt. No, I don't want to decrypt. I want to encrypt. Which one am I going to use? Okay, let's go back here and then let's select encryption instead of decryption. Okay, so this is it, right? So Emmanuel is a fine boy, right? You can see that the shift key is 3, right? You can see that here, and then you can see some other information here. So if I click encrypt, then you can see the equivalent, right? So you can see that here. Okay, so no, why is it giving me two answers? That's strange, right? So yeah, so that's just an example, right? But let's remember I said Caesar cipher is an example of shift cipher, right? So Caesar cipher is three. Caesar was using three, right? Three characters. So let's take a look at this image, right? So you can see what I'm trying to say. So this is a oh god, no, this is taking me to another blog, Cloudflare blog. So let's take a look at some images to help make the point clear, right? So yes, so we have this, right? So you can see some of these shifts, right? So you can see, right? This is like the reversing, right? So you can see D, right, being reversed, one, two, three, right, back to A and all those kind of stuff, right? So you can see this shift that is two. So from A, you are going to move to C. From B, you move to D. From C, you move to E, like that, like that, like that. But then there were a lot of there were a lot of there were a lot of stuff that made Caesar cipher not so great, right? There are ways that we can actually tell. Say, for example, in English language, right, there are some common letters in English language that, okay, so even if someone is not using Caesar cipher of two, even if somebody is not using Caesar cipher of three, right, there are some common English letters that are very repetitive. If you should take a look at a lot of the comments that we've been having, a lot of the names that we've been having in our comment section, you'll notice that there are some common English letters like E. E is very common. There are some common English letters like A. A is also very common, right? So a lot of time, if Caesar maybe a shift cipher is being used, right? If a shift cipher is being used, right, you will see like some letters will be repetitive. You will see maybe like it's going to be very, very repetitive. So that can give you an insight to the kind of character, right? And then a lot of time in English, right, we have some letters that are always following each other, like not just for like not I don't mean following each other. I mean like we have like double of those letters, right? So, for example, in a lot of English words, you can see like we have double E's, we have double O's, right? All those kind of stuff. So, remember, if you are doing Caesar cipher, right? If you are doing Caesar cipher, right? Maybe you shift by 3, you shift by 10, you shift by 4, whatever number of shifts you do, right? If somebody is using, if there's a double O, right, in the message, right, I'm going to see double of the other character, right? If there's a double E in the word, right, I'm going to see double of that character, right? So with that way, I can start trying to see how I can crack that word, right? So, right, that's like the manual way of doing it. But then we have some online tools that we could actually use to crack it. So here's what we'll do, right? I'm just going to hold on for I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes, right? Somebody should go. Please don't use any negative word, right? Quickly perform Caesar cipher on a secret message. I'm not Caesar, perform shift cipher on a secret message and post in the comment section. I'll be looking out for your message, right? And I'm going to, without knowing the shifts that you use for it, I'm going to crack it as long as you use shift cipher. Okay, so let's quickly do that. I'm waiting for your comments. Okay. Okay, I'm still waiting, guys. Okay, Jessica DE. Okay, that's interesting. Let me see what Jessica is trying to do. So we are going to crack that together. So let's just come back. Let's just Google search decode shift cipher. No, this is images, so I'm going to come to all. So let's use this decode tool. Let me make it a bit bigger for others, right? And then paste this here. So you see this is okay. So we have some, so you can see like different shifts. So if we take a look at it, right, the one that makes sense to us the most is probably going to be the answer. So we have two, we have no, and then we have I, right? So I want to take it that Jessica is greeting us hi, right? Probably. So Jessica, tell me if I'm correct or if I'm wrong. Well, you guys are using like very, very short, very, very short. It's very short. Jessica said means about. That's interesting. Just let's use like proper word. Okay, let's use proper word. Okay. After Jessica, which other one do we have? Now we have a lot of comments. Oh God, how am I going to do this without somebody thinking I'm being biased? Okay, so we have one from Divine Anifowoshe. Let's check Divine Zone. So Divine, let's check what your secret message. Okay, so I'm just going to paste Divine's message here. Let's decrypt and okay, is there anyone making sense here? I think this is the closest. This is the one that makes sense. J and a fine boy and a boy. J and a boy. Ah, that's interesting. Divine J and a boy. Am I correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Yeah, I think that's the one that makes sense the most out of all what Divine has said. But let me look for one last one to see. Okay, is it going to be a male or a female? Okay. I'm just going to go to the down, like, okay, the last message I see is the one I'll pick. Okay. So, okay, I have Isaac. Isaac Ayodeji. So let me pick Isaac Ayodeji's on. So let's pick Isaac Ayodeji's on, right? Let's check this decrypt, let it brute force. So, okay, Isaac, Mr. Emmanuel, that's interesting. Isaac, just Emmanuel is good. Please. Okay, so Isaac wrote my name, right? So this is, I mean, we can easily do this because right now we are like more computationally advanced, right? But back in the day, it wasn't this easy, right? And remember, we said you can use as shifts as possible. So it's not compulsory you use 3 shifts, right? You could use 5, you could use 10, you could use 15. But most time, we don't advise people to use 25. We don't advise people to use 1, right? Because those ones are easily decryptable. Okay, so I still have a lot more coming, but guys, let's hold up with it. I sincerely apologize if I did not pick your own, right? I sincerely apologize. I'll just pick one last one, and then we'll proceed to with our class, okay, to the other part of our material. Let's not get lost with this is a cipher. So I have Taiwo Daramola. So I'm going to pick Taiwo's own, right? And let's check what Taiwo is saying. Okay. So let's check this. Okay. Hope you are fine. Yes, Taiwo, I am doing fine. I am fine. Thank you. All right. So thank you guys. So this is just like a very basic example, right? This is a very basic. Remember, this is from the days of Caesar, right? From the days of Caesar, right? And right now we have more advanced computers, right? Imagine we are solving all of these in space of like 1 or 2 seconds, right? All we have to do is paste it here, click decrypt, and then the tool is going to try different key combination, right? And then after that, we'll get our answer, right? So from there, from Caesar cipher, things moved up a bit, right? And then we started having other ones since people discovered Caesar secret, right? they discover, oh, this is not so hard to crack, right? And then I already gave you some example of things that are noticeable, right? Double words, all those kind of things, popular English word. So let's say, for example, let's take someone used Emmanuel, right? So let's take a look at that, right? To explain what I was saying the other time, right? So, like I said, there are some popular English words, right, that you notice are repetitive. So, oh no, oh no. So where is that? Okay, let's just repeat what this guy did the other time. So let's take Emmanuel as an example. Let's encrypt Emmanuel. Then let's take a look at the cipher. So you can see, like, we have H, we have double P, right, and some other stuff. We have B, we have this, right? So you can see that the double letter is still showing double letter here, which is the problem, right? Then we can see, okay, this is actually the correct one. Okay, yeah. Why is this tool providing me two? I'm not sure why it's behaving this way, right? Then we have, you can see HH, right? You can see BB, right? When you start seeing some repetitive ones, you can start guessing that, oh, this HH is probably E, right? This is E, right? Maybe this BB is probably E, depending on the shift, the amount of shift that was used. So that's the way we can actually guess. So if you start taking a look at some of the ciphers that you guys are providing, right, you can see that that is where it is. So to encrypt, right, we add 3, right? To decrypt, we subtract 3. Thank you very much, Damilola Ibijola, for saying that. Yes, thank you. I forgot to say that. To encrypt, we'll do it forward. To decrypt, we'll do it backward. So to encrypt, we'll add 3 to the letter, right? And then to decrypt, we'll go back 3 letters. Okay, thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. And then from there, we move to some other ones, right? We have like Virginia cipher, we have Skytail cipher, right? So these ones were able to defeat some of the problems that we had with Caesar cipher, right? And then during the World War II era, right, we had something known as the Enigma machine, right? The Enigma machine was at that time quite very, very advanced in its own time, right? It was used for secret communication during the World War, right? Complex mathematical encryption used by Nazi, right? And all those Nazi, right? And all those kind of stuff, right? But then in modern days now, we have the DSA, we have the RSA, we have the AES, and these ones are more computationally demanding, right, than the ancient ones, right? You guys are already seen how easy it is for us to crack Caesar cipher. Virginia can be cracked by a modern day computer and all those kind of stuff. So let's take a look at Virginia. Let's take a look at Virginia. Okay. Let's just quickly look at that and then how that works, right? Let's take a quick look at that and then okay. So yeah, let's take a look at it. Use the code, right? So you can see the quick brown fox, right? Over 13 lazy dogs, right? So you can see this is the equivalence, right? So you can see this is taking a different approach, right, than Caesar cipher, right? It's a bit different. The way it works is a bit different. I don't want us to go into how it works, right? Then we have the Enigma machine, right? Let's take a look at the Enigma machine. Let's see what the Enigma machine look like in its days. Enigma machine, right? So you can see what the Enigma machine looked like during its days, right? This was used for sending all these military message and all those kind of things. So you're punching one thing, is typing another thing, doing all the whole mathematical calculation and all those stuff. So even if the enemy sees the message, it's not going to make sense to the enemy. Okay, and then nowadays we have DSA, we have RSA, right? In fact, because we are in the era of quantum computers, right? Because we are in the era of quantum computers, some of these modern ones that we have, some of these RSA, DSA, AES, right? We already have some quantum computers that have the ability to crack these things, right? So the information security world, right, the cryptography world, the mathematics world, right, are quite on their toe right now, right? In order to produce something that we are sure that people cannot crack, right? Because if remember that at the end of the day, these things are the things we are using to protect information that is moving from point A to point B, right? And if somebody can crack it, that means the person can read the information, just like we're able to read the username and password on that website yesterday, and all those kind of things. So we are working right now because there are hackers that possess this kind of machines that are using these things to crack, right? But then it's not yet like very, very common knowledge, and quantum computers are very, very expensive, right? Really, really expensive. But we are getting, remember that you agree with me that the way computer work, the way computers work, right, is that first generation will be very big, and then subsequently it keeps getting smaller, 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 and not just smaller and smaller and smaller, right? It gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper till probably anybody can afford all these things, right? Probably in Caesar cipher days, in Virginia days, right? You need like the smartest of mathematicians, right, to be able to crack these things, or you need like the smartest people. But now this common knowledge, even Emmanuel is able to crack all these things in split second, right? And it's the same way it's going to be. So it's just like security is just always like a cat and mouse race, right? Right? So the bad guy cracks something, and then we as a security professional will produce something better, right? It always happens like that, like that, like that, like that. Like there's a popular saying in security that no machine is 100% secure, right? So nothing is uncrackable. But then we always try to produce something better. Okay, so that's a little bit on history, right? We've done history, we visited Caesar, visited Virginia, take a look at Enigma machine and how it was being used in World War II. If you are somebody that like history, please, you could just take a look into that and all those kind of stuff, right, later on, right? And then some modern one like DES, like RSA, like AES, and all those kind of stuff. So yeah, you could see, Morse code is an example, right? It's not everything I can touch. Ile, Shomi, Femi, it's not everything I can touch. There are a lot of them out there, right? I'm just picking on a little, right? It's histories, a lot, right? So we are just touching a few. But the reason I'm trying to bring this to attention is we are looking at how things started to what we have right now, right? So maybe in the next 50 years, right, some of the things we have, maybe DSA, RSA, the next 50, 100 years, somebody is probably going to be taking a class and the person is going to say, oh, back then DSA was a serious thing, but now we can crack DSA in 2 minutes, we can crack DSA in 2 seconds, and all those kind of things. Yeah, that's the way it always works. Technology gets better and better and better, right? So we just take a look at the history, and then we are taking a look at how it works and all those kind of things. Okay. All right. So with that being said, why does cryptography matter today? Why are we still talking about cryptography, right? Cybersecurity backbone is cryptography, right? Cryptography is used in everything from messaging application, to banking application, to even cryptocurrency as we have it right now, right? Cryptography is everywhere, right? As long as we want to talk about secure communication, right? One way or the other, cryptography is involved, right? In fact, it sits on cryptography. Cryptography is the foundation, right? So that's why we are talking about it, right? So we've taken a look at, before computing days, right? In Caesar cipher days, right? We saw that cryptography was being used to communicate before computer, and even after computer, probably cryptography is still going to be used, right? We even saw that during the war, right? In the military, right? During World War II, cryptography was also being used when computer wasn't as advanced as we have right now. And even as computer is going to be advancing, we are still going to use cryptography, right? And protect data across insecure networks. So right now in this day and age, cryptography is very, very, very important because the internet is like an open space, right? So usually we say the internet is not a secure space, it's an insecure space because it's just like the sky. Let's think of the internet as the sky. Anything can fly on the sky, anything can fly across the sky, and anything that is flying across the sky or anything that is flying through the sky, anybody can see it. That's just how things are on the internet. So information is flying from point A to point B to point C, from different places to different places across the internet, right? Now, now, cryptography, we want to make sure that, although we'll be using the internet to pass information, we'll be using the internet to push information, we'll be sending information from point A to point B, we need to find a way to make sure that our information is securely communicated across an insecure internet, across an insecure network. Okay, so cryptography enables secure transaction communication and storage, right? So without cryptography, I don't know how we'll be communicating securely. I don't know how we'll be performing transactions securely. And I don't know how we'll be protecting our data at rest or data in storage securely. Okay, so someone is asking what is digital signature. We are going to get to that. Okay, so just hold on a bit. Okay, so yeah. So why are we using cryptography? Like we explained, like we saw yesterday, cryptography is being used in HTTPS, right, with TLS, and we saw that practically yesterday, right? A lot of people, I've seen a few of you guys ask about VPNs, right? Right, VPN tells you your data is being protected and all those kind of stuff. So I may argue some VPN, right, and if they're actually fulfilling what they are promising for. But for the VPNs that are doing what they are supposed to do, right? Maybe sometimes they tell you if you want to use an open Wi-Fi, use VPN, right? Now, all those protection are happening because the VPN is using cryptography. Okay, all those are happening because the VPN system is using cryptography. Blockchain, as we have today, right? The blockchain people tell you is secure, is the future, and all those kind of stuff. Yes, I agree, but then all those things that blockchain is promising, right, is also coming out of what? Cryptography, right? Email encryption, even your password, right? The way your password is being stored, we are going to be taking a look at that as we progress, right? Is also as a result of cryptography, right? So usually your password is being stored in a hash format, right? So that in case the system gets compromised and the plain text password cannot be retrieved, right? So that is made possible by cryptography. So all in all, right? All in all, I'm going to say that without cryptography, there is no secure digital world. It is hard to think of a digital world, a secure digital world without cryptography. Okay, so I'll just take a look at the comment section to see what you guys are talking about now, and then we'll go on our 10 minutes break, and then we'll come back to the other part of our material. Okay. Okay, Jessica, can we see example of DSA? Yes, and yeah. We'll probably take a look at that, right? But then just do a quick Google search of that. You will see you can see that most of things I'm showing, I just do a quick Google search and then I use the tool and so you can do that on your own end. Okay. Yeah, there's DSA, there's DES, okay. There's DSA, there's DES, this Stephen, right? Yes, Omotosh. Sure. Yes, the jitters and lenters are not left out. Yes, there was. I mean, that was like the that Egypt played like a critical role in modern civilization, right? So yeah, it's not left out. Yes, CFR, it is the backbone of cybersecurity. Nisa, I think some tribes still use those previous formats. Yeah. Some people still do that. Okay. All right, to protect information. Yeah. Okay, I think I answered Paul. I saw this when I was going on. Bio, how can Enigma machine be cracked? Yeah, it's possible to crack Enigma machine, okay, but that's not our focus for today, okay? Faith talks with melody. Just curious. No, algorithm is not the same as cryptography. Let's not mix things up. So remember that earlier on, let me go back to the slide. We said cryptography is the science right, is the science, right? So it's like the parents, right? Right. So algorithm is what we use to transform the data. Is the step we follow in transforming the data. But then cryptography is like the science of transforming the data. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. Stephen, is it possible to decrypt TSL and other forms of? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw somebody yesterday was mentioned TLS and SSL stripping. Yeah, that's a possibility, right? That's a concept in cybersecurity. Yes, it is possible, but then it's very hard, right? It's very hard, right? And then you need like really, really intense computational power. Yeah, like intense computational power to be able to do all those things. Okay. What about um third web, right? Web 3, this is A-frame Excel. Yes, Web 3 is heavy on cryptography. Yeah, from the name, right? Web 3 is heavy on cryptography. Like the modern web that we have right now is heavy on cryptography, right? Okay. Because at the end, remember, Web 3 is promising to fill in the gap for a lot of places where Web 2 has failed, right? And one of those places is security. Okay. Um, okay. Chukwu Emerie, can I use VPN on GB WhatsApp, please, since it is banned? Please just use number WhatsApp. That's all I'll say. Okay, Adeyemi Samuel is asking if we have demo. We're already doing our some little demo. Adeyemi, we're already showing some things, but then we have a session specially crafted for demo. Okay, so look out for that. Um, So SO is asking if the bad guys have knowledge of cryptography, what are the things cybersecurity experts do differently to secure system? Yeah, so we produce more complex system, right? That's just what we do, right? So remember, like I said, it's a cat and mouse thing. If they find how to crack one, then a better one is going to come out, right? But then there are ones that there are some encryption technique, there are some algorithms, there are some hashing function or hashing method that we have right now that has stood the test of time, that for 20, 30 years, people are, the bad guys have not been able to crack them, right? I mean, it's just like your password, right? There are some password that you set that it will take a bad guy 2 days or 1 week to crack, and then you make those passwords more complicated by using some of those special characters, right? And then in order to crack those passwords, it might take a million years with the current computational power that we have right now. But then, like I said, we are beginning to have quantum computer is beginning to become is getting better, right? We're having more big breakthrough in that era, right? So some of the strong ones that we have previously, some of them are getting cracked, but then at the same time, we're producing better ones. Okay, yeah, SHA-256 is actually pretty intense, right? Pretty secure, pretty safe, right? To the best of my knowledge. Okay, so I answered this question already. Faith Talk Melody. Algorithm is not the same as cryptography. We have demo. No, I'm not saying cryptography is the highest level of security in digital security. No, no, there's a lot in security, but then cryptography is an important part. Okay. Let's do the mathematics. No, let's not do that, Jeremiah. Let's not do that. Okay. And difference between keys and algorithms. So key is like what you is going to be like a secret. How do I say this without confusing you? So we have secret key that is being used, right? We have a secret key that is being. Remember, I said the algorithm is the step-by-step process followed in transforming the data, right? So in the process of following the step, you use a key, right, as part of the step, right? But the algorithm is the step-by-step process followed. Okay, so I have a lot of questions. Oh my God. But let's take our break quickly, guys. Let's take our break. So this is 3 minutes past 8 Nigerian time. 3 minutes past 8 Nigerian time. And then when we get back, by 30 minutes past, right, we'll get to what we have for the remaining part of our slide. All right, so let's take our break quickly. Thank you, guys. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. We are back. So thank you very much. Yeah. All right, thank you. All right, so just a quick one, guys. So please, as much as we try to make our sessions very friendly and not too serious, please let's not forget why we are here. Let's remain respectful and let's try to be polite in the comment section. Okay, so because I had some not so nice stuff in the comments when we're doing our Caesar cipher, and YouTube was flagging some of the things some people were posting. So please, let's stay respectful and yeah, let's not forget why we're here, guys. Please, thank you. Okay, Ayodele, Julius, I will communicate this the man, with the management, and that should be resolved. All right, thank you for bringing that to our observation. All right, thank you, Salve Egurube. I hope I'm sorry, forgive me if I'm pronouncing your name wrongly. All right, okay. Um, okay, so let's pick up from where we stop. Right, so we already spoke about the evolution of cryptography and then we spoke about those kind of stuff, right? And then so yeah, so the evolution from manual to mechanical to mathematical to quantum ready, right? So yeah, so manual was Caesar, Shift Cipher, Skytail, and all those kind of things. Then things became mechanical, right? Enigma machine, like we saw, rotor machines, then digital DES, RSA, AES, SHA-256, SHA-512, and all those kind of other ones we have out there, right? And then now we are in the post-quantum era, right? Remember I said the quantum computers are becoming more of a thing right now. Okay, so yeah, that's just the little bit on that. So there's a shift in goal over time. There has been a shift in goal over time, right? There have been a shift in goal over time. So before it moved from all about being all about secrecy to integrity to authentication. Where we are right now is trust. Where we are right now is trust. Okay, so now remember, like what we're explaining, using the example we gave yesterday, and one of the things I tried to buttress on about HTTP websites, right? When right now, if the website is not using HTTPS, right, most of us will not trust it. So now we've gotten to an era where if somebody is not doing the right thing cryptographically, right, then your users are not going to trust you. Okay, your users are not going to trust you if you are not doing the right thing cryptographically. Your users are not going to trust you. So cryptography have moved from just sending letters, right, just sending secret message, to now the generation where you need to do cryptography as an individual. You need to implement cryptography, or as a company you need to implement cryptography for your users to trust you. So it's just like, oh, if any of you should be visiting a website from what we've discussed so far, like I said earlier, right? And then you see that the website is using HTTP rather than HTTPS, then you're not going to trust the website, right? There are some things, there are a lot of other things, the certificates, right? What I'm just trying to say right now is that cryptography has moved to an era of of a company implementing it, right? Meaning that the users can trust the company. I hope I said that correctly. Okay. So it's just like Web3 as we have it right now. A lot more people are trusting Web3, right? Because it is heavy on cryptography, right? A lot more people are trusting Web3, right? Okay. Sorry, my tongue is twisting, guys. So sorry. Okay, so having spoken about that now, so let's take a look at hashing. We spoke about encryption yesterday, but now let's take a look at hashing. So hashing is a one-way function, like I said earlier on, right? Mentioned earlier, right? And then what this means is that it cannot be reversed. So unlike all the things that we've been seeing early, right? All the things that we've been showing, all the encryption method, all the encoding method that we've been showing before now, hashing is kind of different from that, right? Hashing is a one-way function. That means you can only hash something. You cannot dehash something, right? So remember, like for encryption, you can encrypt something and then you can decrypt it. But for hashing, you cannot do the reverse. Okay, you cannot do the reverse, right? The highest you can do is to probably hash another thing and compare if the values are the same. So why is it this way? Why is it this way? Right? So there are a lot of reasons. All right. Ebenezer, yeah, it's just like broken name. Once you break it, you can't fix it back. Right? Yeah. So let me explain why it is this way. Now, hash most time usually have fixed lengths, right? So a lot of mathematics stuff is going to happen underneath the way. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at some example. So let me close this and this. Let's take a look. So for example, let's go back to some of the. Let's take a look at Virginia, which we did. So God bless DSA. So this is the plain text, right? So right, then you can see the ciphertext, right, at this side. So let me make this big. Okay, so you can see God bless DSA. You can see the ciphertext here, right? Then if I should add hyphen amen to this, right, you can see that the length is increasing, right? The length is being affected. We have a lot of encryption algorithm out there, right? So we have some modern ones, right? Let's do like base 64, right? There's base 64, right? So if we do base 64, if we come here, let's encode something in base 64, right? Base 64 is a little bit more complex than Caesar, more complex than Virginia, right? Base 64 is actually still being used till date. So let me make this big. So let's do God bless DSA, and then let's do amen. Right, so I will encode this now, and then you see the result here. Okay, why? Okay, ASCII. Oh, why is this? This is not supposed to be what I get. Something is wrong with this. Okay. Oh, okay. I did decode. I'm supposed to do encode. Yeah, I knew something was wrong. Sorry about that, guys. I selected decode instead of encode. So let me change that. So encode. So yeah. So let's do God bless DSA. Amen. Right. So let's encode this now. Okay, so you can see the base 64 encoded value, right? So you can see the length. So let me make this big for those who might not be able to see. Right, so you can see it here. You can see the length of this. So let's say I add more text, right? This is the place we add more text to what we are encoding, right? And let's say I encrypt this. Now you can see that the length has increased, right? It's a lot more than what we had before, right? Now, for hashing, usually there's going to be fixed length. So regardless of how many characters you supply, you're always going to get a fixed length. So what do I mean by that, right? What do I mean by that? So let's come to a new, so let's say SHA-256 hashing. Okay. No. Hash generator. Okay, so we have this now. Okay, some of you are complaining about the size. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit, right? So let me know. I want to believe it's better now. Okay. Okay, so we have SHA-256. So I'm just going to do the same thing. God bless DSA. Amen. Full stop, right? And then I'm going to generate the SHA-256 hash for this. Right, now you can see, so let me make this big because I know some might not be able to see this. Okay, so you can see the SHA-256 hash value for this. You can see the length, right? Now, if I should copy the previous text we have now you notice that for base 64, the encoded message, the cipher text was way longer, right? We added more value. But if we do that for SHA-256, let me add more text. And then if I should generate, it's still going to give us the same length. It's going to be different value, but the same length. So a lot is happening, right? A lot is happening. This is just me trying to explain one of the reasons why you cannot reverse hashing, right? So let's be clear on that. Hash is a one-way function. You can only generate hash. You cannot dehash stuff, right? But then there are ways attackers or you as a professional can go about cracking hash, right? There are ways you can go about it, but fundamentally, you cannot dehash something that has been hashed. Okay. Yeah. So crypto wallets, right, are also fixed length. Yes. Crypto wallets are also fixed length, right? But it works in a different way. It's not like this. It's in a different way. Okay. It's a different way. Okay. And what do we need hashing for? What do we need hashing for? Password storage. So usually, right, we don't store passwords in plain text. We don't store passwords in plain text usually, right? So a lot of time, what is being stored on computers are the hash equivalent of the password. Alright, okay. And then most of the time, right, what most of you will be familiar with, because I see that some of you are already trying to ask like the context in which hashing is being used, right? Most of the time, hashing is used to check file integrity. Hashing is being used to check file integrity. So let me show you something. Still trying to buttress of my point of how interesting hashing is. So let's say I hash the value capital A, right? Let's generate the hash value for this. You can see that A has been transformed to this long text, right? If we should hash small letter A, we are going to get we are going to get something entirely different from capital letter A. So let me do small letter A now, right? So you can see this is 559A EAD, right? So let's generate this. You see that what we have is entirely different from what we had. What we have now is entirely different from what we had before now, right? So usually, if you have a file, right, and a little part of it has been tampered with, and then you have the hash value. If you should compare the hash value with this new one, you always notice a significant difference. Okay, you always notice a significant difference. Okay, so yeah, so hashing a lot of time, right? A good number of time is used for checking file integrity. So for example, some of you might have seen this, right? If you maybe when you go to download a file, right? Maybe you are trying to download a file online, and then maybe on the website they'll tell you, okay, this is the hash value of what you are trying to download, right? And then they will now tell you that after downloading it, you should calculate the hash and then you should check it, right? So why they are telling you to do that is so that in case anything happens along the way in the process of downloading the file, right, you will notice that the new hash value will be significantly different from what is on their website. Okay, so that's like using it for checking file integrity. Same thing it is used for in blockchain, right? So for those who are probably familiar with the blockchain, right, there's a lot of cryptographic calculation, there's a lot of hash function checking and all those kind of things too. And then people do all those kind of things in the crypto world and then they get reward for that, right? So we have some popular hashing algorithms, right? Like MD5, like SHA-1, like SHA-256, SHA-512, and a lot other hashing algorithm. Okay, so for example, like we said, hashing words such as hello. If you hash word like hello in SHA-256, right, you get the character, right? You get a particular character, right? But then, like I said, even a tiny change in output changes the entire hashing, right? So just like we did the other time. So you see here, let's do hello here to check that. So hello with capital H, right? And then let's hash. Oh no, this encoding. Sorry. So hello with capital H, right? And then generate the hash. So you can see the hash value, right? You can see this is starting with 185F8 DB, right? And ending with 1968. If we should just change H to small letter, right? And then we generate, you notice that it's going to give us something entirely different. So you can see this is far, far from what we had before. So tiny change, major difference. And that way you can always tell when something has been tampered with or if something has been tampered with. Okay. And yeah, so demo, right? But then we did most of the demo along the way. We did most of the demo as we're talking about the concept. You notice that I was even getting ahead of myself in today's class, right? So yeah, we've touched most of the demo I want us to see. We've touched on hashing. We've seen how hashing works and all those kind of things, right? We've touched on cryptography, encryption, history, Caesar cipher. We spoke about some popular ones, right? We just touched very quickly on some popular ones, but then there are a lot outside there, right? You notice that when I was proceeding, right, I mentioned something here which is base 64, right? So we have base 64, we have base 32, we have base 58. So all those are like different encryption algorithm, right? Remember, like I said, algorithm is like the step by step. So you might follow it one step, right, which is like an algorithm, right? Follow one step, which is like an algorithm. Then you follow an entirely different step, which is another algorithm. And two of them will give you the different results. Okay, so finally, guys, quickly, hashing versus encryption. Hashing versus encryption. Hashing versus encryption. So, guys, hashing, right? We already explained that. Oh, encryption. Then we have decryption. But for hashing, there's no dehashing, right? Someone is asking, can hashing be cracked? Like yes, it is possible to crack hash, but it is not possible. It's not the way you might be thinking it is, right? It's not the way you are thinking it is. Sylvester, I'm lost in this hashing. Oh, you are lost in hashing. So what part? So let me quickly go over it again. So hashing is a one-way function, right? And most time in hashing is a fixed length. So there's a lot of mathematics going on in the background, and we don't want to touch all of those, right? There's a lot of backend stuff going on, and we don't want to touch on all of those. But just know that it is fixed length, right? A little change in the value is going to affect every single thing, right? And then if you should enter a single A, it's going to give you a fixed length. If you enter double A, it's still going to give you the same fixed length, but totally different character. Okay. Yes, thank you, Rachel. Hashing in a particular algorithm is always the same. Yes, it is always the same. Yes. So hello with small letter H will always be give you the same hash character in SHA-256. As long as you are using that algorithm, it is always going to give you the same character, right? So that is why it is possible for us to crack hash. If we can guess the value, right, then we calculate the hash. We can now check it against the hash value. If the values are the same, then we know that that's what has been used to create the hash, right? But you can't dehash the way most of you are thinking. You can't reverse it. Okay. Okay, so someone is asking, how do we hash a file and a document? So you can use a lot of these online tools, right? So you use a lot of these online tools. So you can, for some of them, you will have a place to upload the file, right? So for this one, this is just calculating the hash for text, right? But for some of these tools, you will see a place to upload the file. When you upload the file, then you'll be able to calculate the hash value for the file, right? And then there are also ways you can do them natively on your system, maybe using your CMD, using your terminal. But then I don't want us to touch in on all of those today to avoid confusion. Okay. All right, someone is still asking. Like I said, hashing cannot be reversed. Olarewaju Da Costa, it cannot be reversed. Okay. So the best you can do is to calculate a new hash and compare the value if it's the same as the hash you are doing. Okay. So just like the lady the other time helped us help me point out, right, is that the value will always remain the same for a particular character, right, for a particular string or for a particular file, right? So once you calculate new hash, you can compare, right? So that's the way we go about cracking it. Okay. Okay, Tide Tech is saying maybe some of us here can come up with a technology to revise. I mean, never say never, right? Never say never. Okay. All right. So Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. We are rounding up for tonight. So I advise you guys, please. I know this is a lot, right? Cryptographic is one part that is so easy to lose your students. So that's why we are trying to be very careful here. So our advice, as always, please try to read, right, further outside of this class, expand your knowledge before our next session together. And then there are some challenges that I would advise that you try out, right? If you try out some of these challenges, you are going to be you are going to be you are going to be learning new things, right? Beyond what I've explained. So try out crypto power challenges, play around with CyberChef, right? Play around with OpenSSL, Hashcard, GPG, research a bit about these concepts and all those kind of stuff, and then you will be in a very, very good place. You'll be in a very good place. Okay, so please, our advice, if you are with your phone, if you are with your laptop, please just take a snapshot of this particular task, most especially cyber chef and crypto pulse challenges, right? Please go through them, right? Go through them, and then it will help drive home some of the points I have made in this class. It's going to enlighten you more, and then it will begin to make a lot, it will start making a lot more sense to for you guys. Okay, so thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, we're able to keep to time for tonight's class. Thank you guys for tonight. I appreciate. Thank you.